Hello everyone. In this video I'm going to show you all how to go ahead and texture this bookshelf. Um, it's going to be pretty simple. I'll include the uh, texture I'm using in the canvas shell, and I'm going to go ahead and just kind of get started here. So shouldn't be too difficult. I don't even know. I did label it all right. So I do have some things in my history here. Not much, but I'm just going to go edit, delete all by type history. Um, I'm going to go to panels, and I'm going to go to saved layouts and go to Persp UV editor. And you'll notice this is what it looks like. So when we extruded inward, it basically made all these faces inverted because we're pulling it in a negative direction is what it looks like to me. But regardless, these UVs here really aren't usable, at least not effectively. So I'm going to do a couple things. I'm just going to play around with a couple different ways to texture it, or unwrap it, excuse me. I'm going to hold spacebar. I'm going to go to UV, and I'm going to just try automatic on this one. The other thing I am going to do is I'm going to apply my checkerboard to it. So I'm going to assign new material. I'm going to go Lambert. I'm going to go to Lambert 2. I'm going to rename it checkerboard Lambert material. I'm going to select under color the little checkerboard. I'm going to go to checker right here, and then I'm going to tap 6 on my keyboard. Now I'm going to go to tools, move UV shell tool. I'm going to highlight over everything, and I'm going to scale it much larger. Now you'll notice that the automatic unwrap, it did a great job sort of breaking everything apart real quick, but I'm actually getting some texture stretching here. As you notice, these checkerboards aren't squares, they're more rectangular in shape. So I'm going to try a couple things just to go ahead and kind of get started. Now typically what we would try to do is go to our UV toolkit, go to unfold, click unfold, and see how well that does. And it seemed to do a pretty decent job. Now they went from rectangles to squares, but they're not sized appropriately yet. And you'll notice even here, this is a much more accurate representation of it. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to tools, or no, modify, layout. I should have everything set, but I'm going to go ahead and double check. I have it under method unfold 3D, packing resolution 256. Excuse me, I have a little bit of allergies today. Texture map size, blah, 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 and scale mode uniform. And I'm going to just hit layout UVs. I'm going to go ahead and then zoom in. I don't like how everything's sort of crooked, but it did an excellent job, an absolutely fantastic job getting this thing done in like 2 seconds. So I would like to try to no. And now it's really just sort of, I'm exactly where I want. I just don't want it to be all awkward like that because they're all squares. I'm hoping there's a trick I can do to sort of, let's go modify, layout, hit the little square. And I'm trying to do this, and let's try this little rotate shells button and hit layout UVs. And that didn't do too much. So realistically, this is all perfect. This is ready to kind of rock and roll. And just to double check real quick that they're all squares again. See, they're all on an angle, and I would rather them not be. So I'm gonna go ahead, and I know they're really well sized. I know everything's kind of working well. I am literally, and this is ready to go. I'm just gonna go ahead and move each one of these one by one. Whoa. I had my soft select tool on, which was grabbing all the other UVs when I was rotating, and I was getting some really weird distortion. So make sure if you do have that on, turn it off by tapping B on your keyboard. And now I'm gonna just go ahead and simply line these up. I would like to. Let's have 5, 6. There we go. I'd like to just sort of get rid of that. Texture for now. And I'm just going through this and making it, rotating it. As best as I can get it. I'm not going for perfection. I actually don't even know how that happened, but it is what it is. And this is just going to make it a lot easier for me so it doesn't look weird with the wood grain. But I am literally just going to go through this one by one to make them all sort of not cockeyed on an angle. It's a little time consuming, but I can't tell you how grateful I am. It just unwrapped perfectly for me right off the bat. And once I have this done, I might have to lay it out again, and I'll have to make sure I have that rotate checkbox turned off. But it did a really, really good job. So once I'm done with this, I am going to it might be in the next video, it might be in the following video on just the midterm sections. But what I'm going to do after that is I'm going to model a book, and I'm going to do a little color swap on it so it looks like it's a bunch of different books. I may even do like a different title on it so they look really unique and different, but it's really just going to be a color swap. And what I mean by that is I'm going to have a red book, a black book, a blue book, a orange book, whatever colors I decide on. And then I can reuse that object to get some really unique results and make it look like it's a actual bookcase. It'll add a lot to this scene. And only, I don't know, 18 more pieces to go. Now, actually, I have brought up a good thought real quick. While I'm doing this, let's just see what happens. What I was thinking is that while I'm doing this, I could have the wood grain go in whatever direction I choose while I'm doing this, which I didn't think of when I started this. So that's the side. I don't know. We'll see what happens. And this isn't 100% absolutely necessary to do because we had everything really well done with just the click of a couple buttons, but see, I know this is going to be the opposite side, so I'm definitely going to want both of these to be facing the same type of direction. But we'll see what happens. Almost done here. Close enough. So the reason I'm doing this is you'll see soon, if you haven't already figured it out, but the texture I'm using is it's going to be a wood, right? So the wood grain runs a certain way, and it would look funny if it's all running vertical or horizontal, but my UVs are on an angle, and then it's going to texture it really wonky. So I hate how I have to keep going back to the Move UV Shell tool. It's kind of annoying. Ooh. So this one, I'm not too concerned about the back of it actually, because you're not going to see it. But I do want to show you how to do it. See, that's not what I was going for. It's like Tetris in a way. Okay. Alright, so that's better. It's not perfect, but it's better. So now I don't have those squares running on angles and things, so they're pretty much straight up. So I'm going to do a UV set, or no, image UV snapshot with all of them highlighted. Browse where I'm going to locate this thing. JPEG, apply and close, open up Photoshop. That's the book I was telling you about. And here's the texture. However, let's open up this image. So now I've got my UVs here. I'm going to duplicate this layer. I'm going to open. I just want to see what it'll kind of look like. So you see what I mean with the way it's gonna run. Now I don't need this UV because I'm gonna try to see, as long as this texture is tileable, I'm just gonna run it right over it in Maya. So back to Maya, assign new material, AI shader, standard surface. I'm gonna delete all by type history so I get all that stuff out of the way. This is going to be book shelf Arnold material, and under color I'm going to select that color with the file, and by tileable you'll see what I mean. So I really think I want the wood grain to go the other way. It looks great on the back, but I'm going to go back into Photoshop. I'm going to do image rotation, 90 degrees. And I'm going to save it out. Yeah, we'll save it over it. And now maximum large file, blah, 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 okay. And then back in here, I'm going to reload that texture. And you'll see the wood grains are going all types of different ways now. So, I like it on the side. I want the top to look different, but no one's ever really going to see it, right? Or maybe they would. So this is where that wood grain would, you could rotate these and replace them and all that kind of stuff, but I'm just going to leave it as is. This is more than, acceptable for your midterm in terms of texturing it. The other thing I can do is if I wanted to, let's see. If this is a tileable texture, this only works if it's actually tileable. You can actually scale it larger than that 1:1, and it will tile. You'll see how much finer and tinier so it's really just trying to find that happy medium. If you're using a tileable texture. If not, it would have hard seams and it would look kind of funny. But with that being said, going to my UV toolkit and transform rotate 90. I think I like it better the other way. Anyway, you get the idea. So that's my bookshelf. Textured. It's not perfect. I could definitely do a better job on it, but it's good enough for this for the midterm, especially for you all just learning. I hope you enjoyed this lab. I know it was just a little tedious, just trying to get them to all turn into the proper rectangle, but I only did that to follow and match the wood grain as best as I could. So anyway, that is the texturing the bookshelf. Hope this was helpful. If you have any questions, reach out. But other than that, I hope you all have a wonderful day. But very basic, simple texturing lab, automatic unwrap, where it was very useful. But then we still had to unfold it, and then we laid out our UVs, and then uniformly anyway. Then we just toggled around with playing around with rotating it just so it would match the wood grain a little bit better. And then applied a texture since it was tileable. I'll include that file in there. But I'll also, because I have it, before I close off, let's go to geometry and add a bump map. Because I know that's in there somewhere. Use as tangent space normals. Click the little arrow. Click the open. It's a .exr or something. Oh, there's really nothing on that. Oh, and I never rotated it either, so it's going to look weird because I rotated my image 90 degrees. So let's just see what that normal map looks like. And is there image rotation? I think that's the way I did it. I'll do file, export. I'm fine with it being a PNG. Okay. Good for it to do its thing. And then on this one, I'm going to duplicate this layer and create myself a diffuse map. Edit or image adjustments. I'm going to go black and white. Click auto. Click OK. Image adjustments. Brightness contrast. Auto. Now that's too bright, but I do like the way it's starting to look, so I'm going to click OK, and then I'm going to go to levels, darken this thing up. I think that'll work. Let's see what auto does anyway. Yeah, never mind. Cancel, image, adjustments, levels. There we go. That's what I'm going with. All right. So I'm going to export this image out. Fine with it being a PNG. So back into Maya. Forgot about this part. Specular, file, click the folder. You guys should all know how to do this right now, or by now. Spec, open, and then normal. And there we go. So I've added my specular map. The only way you really see this well is if I tap 7. I don't have any lights. Let's create a light. It looks a little weird, only because I would probably want to rotate these. It needs a little work for sure. But you get the idea. There's my bookshelf. I hope you enjoyed this lab. If you have questions, let me know. But this is perfectly fine to get started. If you want to tweak it out and try to get it to look a little bit better, more than welcome to do that. I may even, by the time the midterm comes, depending on how much time I have, upgrade my bookshelf a little bit. I'll add some extra details to it, like a crown molding at the top to make it look all fancy, and I don't know, some additional little design aspects. But I hope you enjoyed this. Very simple, very basic. And then if you have any questions, please be sure to check the grading rubric on the for the midterm. But you're headed in the right direction as long as you're doing these little midterm checkups in between the weeks. And let me know if you have questions. Hope you enjoyed, and have a good day.